In today's video, we'll be going over how to find reference angles. In order to find reference angles, we have to remember some key rules. The first rule is that you can add or subtract 180 degrees or 360 degrees in order to find your reference angle. But if you're dealing with radians, you can add or subtract pi over 1 radians or 2 pi over 1 radians in order to find the reference angle. The second rule is that you find the magnitude of your final answer when dealing with radians or degrees, and that magnitude, or you can call it absolute value, is going to be your reference angle. So we're taking the absolute value. The third rule is that your final answer or your reference angle needs to be under 90 degrees or 0.5 pi radians. This will help you find your reference angle. Now that we have our rules out of the way, we can go ahead and do the practice problems. Our first practice problem is going to be where we're given negative 862 degrees and we want to find the reference angle. Now, we just have to go by our rules. We could also, these rules are basically step by step. So now, we have to first add or subtract 180 or 360 as we are dealing with degrees. So, logically, I think it's better to deal with 360 here, as we are pretty far in the negatives. And again, we want to get it under 90 degrees, but we're taking the absolute value. So let's just say after adding 360, we get negative 502, which we would. And we would take the absolute value of that, which would be positive 502, which again, it's still not under 90 degrees, meaning that that's not our final answer. So now, we're going to be adding 360 degrees. And again, I said we would get 502 degrees. The absolute value, negative 502, is not less than 90. So we're going to add another 360 degrees, which gives us negative 142 degrees. Now we can see we're pretty close to getting a positive number, or something that's magnitude or absolute value would be less than 90. So now I'm just going to say we can add 180 degrees. Negative 142 plus 180 gives us 38 degrees. We can see that we've satisfied the first rule where we've only added or subtracted 180 degrees. Our second rule was that we take the absolute value, and the absolute value has to be less than 90 degrees. And the absolute value of 38 is 38, which, again, satisfies our third rule, which is less than 90 degrees, meaning the reference angle for negative 862 degrees is 38 degrees. Now, if you watched the last video, which I will put up in the corner, we know that we can also turn this into radians. And in order to turn something into radians, you can watch it in our last video. We would just multiply by pi over 180. So 38 times pi over 180 gives us 38 pi over 180, which simplifies down to 19 pi over 90. In the third rule, we also have that it has to be less than 0.5 pi radians. And now that we are in radians, we can now see if this answer satisfies that rule. 19 divided by 90 gives us around 0.21 pi, which is less than 0.5 pi, meaning that 19 pi over 90 is our final answer. So the reference angle for negative 862 degrees is 38 degrees or 19 pi over 90. Let's do one more practice problem down here. And in practice problem number 2, we're going to be given 520 degrees, and we want to find the reference angle for this. Now, we're going to do something similar to what we just did in practice problem 1. So we can, since it's positive and we want to get it less than 90, let's start out with saying that we're going to subtract 360 degrees, which leaves us with positive 160 degrees. Now that we're fairly close to 90, the lowest number we had that we can add or subtract was 180, as we said in rule 1. So we can do 160 degrees minus 180 degrees, which leaves us with negative 20 degrees. And again, we're taking the absolute value or magnitude, which leaves us with positive 20 degrees, which is less than 90 degrees, meaning that 20 degrees is our reference angle for 520 degrees. Now again, we can turn this into a radian, which would be 20 degrees times pi over 180 degrees, leaving us with 20 pi over 180 divided by 10, which eliminates the zeros, leaving us with 2 pi over 18. Now we can divide by 2 in the numerator and denominator, which leaves us with pi over 9, or 1 pi over 9. Now we have to again see if this is less than 0.5 pi, and 1 divided by 9, because the coefficient would be 1, so it would be 1 pi divided by 9. So it would be 1 divided by 9, which leaves us with 0.11 continued pi, which is less than 0.5 pi, meaning that we found the reference angle of 520 degrees to be 20 degrees and in radians to be pi over 9. And that is how you find the reference angle with these 3 simple steps. I hope this video helped, and if you believe it did, please consider to like and subscribe, and remember to hit the bell icon in order to get notifications for future videos. Thank you.